Welcome to today's episode of CIO Water Cooler Television. Thanks for joining me once more. I'm joined today by Lorna Allan, CIO at StepChange Debt Charity. How are you this morning, Lorna?
I'm good, thank you, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Look, for anyone who's not familiar with StepChange, let's start there. Who are StepChange? What are you trying to do at the minute for people out there who are looking for the services that you're providing?
Okay, so we're actually a 27-year-old charity. We were set up with a really clear mission to eradicate problem debt across the UK. Not an insignificant challenge. As I say, we've been around 27 years. We help anybody who needs advice, guidance, and debt management for any problem debt that they're dealing with. We have over 6 million people visit our website every year. We disperse annually over £400 million a year to creditors directly on behalf of our clients, our customers, and all of that money goes back to clearing their debts. So quite a significant organisation, all totally not-for-profit, all working across the charity sector.
And you say there's 6 million a year visiting the website. Has that gone up significantly, unfortunately, in the last year or not?
It's been climbing year on year. And this last year has been quite unusual and quite challenging. The changing landscape as a direct result of the pandemic is really shifting behaviour, it's shifting and really almost transforming how we're behaving as individuals. So we are seeing some increased traffic, but the changing pattern of that behaviour is more seeking guidance and advice. We're getting more searches and more seeking information about payment holidays, for instance, or what can I do with universal credit. So we do more than just true problem debt advice. We help signpost to find the ways through problem debt.
Now, you're CIO and the organisation's been around for 27 years. How long have you been at the organisation?
I joined in September 2019.
Yep.
So I've been about 16 months here. It's the first CIO role that the charity's had. And it really is a recognition that we've always been a digital organisation. We launched a digital debt advice solution many, many years ago. But recognising that changing behaviour of our clients, increasing the focus around digitisation, about frictionless journeys and making that more accessible has become a really key thing for the charity. So the organisation chose to create a formal CIO role to make sure we've got that level of focus across our board, across our exec team.
So how do you go about increasing the digital footprint that you've got and improving the accessibility so that, you know, those 6 million and growing customers a year can get a digital first experience?
For us, it's about thinking about how you might engage with us as an individual. So if you think about myself, about you, more and more we are starting to transact online. The pandemic has forced us into that much faster. Even my mother is now doing online shopping and she would never do that. So our behaviours have changed. So our focus is about how do we make sure that we don't need to disrupt the experience that you have and find a digital service that you can choose to transact with for as long as you want. But how do we also make sure that when you need to speak to somebody, debt is still a very personal thing. You still might want to talk to somebody, you might want to choose to web chat with us or pick up the phone for a 5-minute conversation just to check some information. So we're also trying to reflect that everybody is very different with different circumstances, but trying to make it as frictionless as possible and as slick as possible to get you the help you need at the time you need it is really important to us. And digital means that we can help more people.
Now, look, one thing that might happen when this pandemic is over is that people do want to go and shop in a shop again. I mean, I imagine that a lot of people might retain certain elements of life that they've adjusted to. But for one thing, I'd quite like to go into a supermarket and pick up the fruit and check it's kind of ripe as opposed to shopping online all the time, right? But how do you ensure an organisation like yours that you're not going to slip back into a situation where there is a lot of paperwork and you maintain the progress that you've made?
It's a great question, Dave, and it's something that we do think about very carefully. So we will always have an omnichannel presence. We will always have the ability for somebody to pick up the telephone and talk to one of our advisors. And we've got some really great, passionate advisors that are all about trying to give you that direct emotional experience and help. But we also recognise that sometimes you want to talk things through, but sometimes you just want to stay online. So the ability to switch between, the ability to create that flexibility so that that journey becomes very personal to you is something we're quite proud of, and we will continue to maintain. But we also are seeing patterns that suggest that more and more people want to get so far down that route to be able to make their own informed decisions, and they don't want to talk to somebody until they've got much clearer view about what their options are.
Look, you've talked there about changing customer habits, changing attitudes of the people that you're dealing with. How is that affecting your team internally? Because they're going to be dealing with different systems. They're going to be needing different skill sets, right?
They absolutely are. We've gone from being very advisor-led in the charity. We've got 1,500 colleagues across the charity. About 1,000 of those are all facing out to our clients. We've done a lot more training. Our academies, for instance, when we recruit, because of the pandemic particularly, we've had to completely turn our training academies on their head. Last year, we launched, our great HR team launched their first ever online academies, where we take brand new recruits and everything as a digital training through a Teams call. They're able to shadow colleagues that have been in the organisation for a while. They're able to learn about our services and systems. And with that, digital transformation is not just for our clients and creditors, it is also for our internal staff.
Just out of interest, you talked there about shadowing colleagues. That team dynamics is really important within an organisation. And the one thing that you can definitely do via this medium is you can get a sense of whether or not someone's competent, but it's difficult to build a kind of genuine personal bond. Is that something you've thought about?
It's something that we've, like most organisations in the pandemic, we've been scattered to the four winds and we're all suddenly at home staring at four walls. One thing we do have is a great internal comms team. They've worked really hard during last year particularly, so that we've launched things like Workplace internally, a Facebook site that allows all of our colleagues to stay in touch, and that's really helped us humanise.
Right.
So we're able to share things about pictures of cats, dogs, kids, gardens, you name it. All those things that you miss when you're not just getting coffee at the coffee machine with somebody. Yeah. And we've tried to build up that internal culture and that behaviour where you can still connect and stay involved with people, even though you're looking through a small screen.
It does feel like the entire world has gone out and got a dog in the last year.
It really does, definitely.
Look, you talked about changing behaviours earlier. You talked about your own mother going online and using online services with regards to shopping. The pandemic has obviously affected absolutely everybody, and it's changing your customer base. How's the organisation responding to that? Because you're having to deal with a whole completely different demographic of people that you've dealt with in the past.
We're definitely seeing a different type of customer coming to us, and we're seeing very different search patterns in terms of who's connecting to us for access to our services. And one of the big differences in terms of my perception is the likes of you and I are the people that are now seeking that help and advice. You know, where we're in good roles, good salaries, and we don't budget very well. We live to our means. I think general society, you live to your means. If that's pulled out from under you, and there's some really big examples now of redundancies across the retail sector, British Airways late last year, there's some sizable proportions of our society that have good salaries that have just vanished overnight. That's driving different clients to us, that's driving different search topics, that's driving different behaviours. And an increasing well-educated part of society is really being impacted through no fault of their own from a pandemic. We need to make sure our messaging and our services caters for every possible aspect of our society.
Well, look, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. It sounds like your inbox is as full as ever, even now a year and a half into the creation of your role. So good luck with the challenges ahead.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed today's episode of CIO Watercooler TV, please do stay, have a look around the website. There's plenty more content to discover there.